over the last few weeks or so, I've come to the realization that some of the quality of the vlogging that I'm doing in my weekly and every so often vlogs, it's just the B-roll is not really what I want. And so also some of the talk to camera, it just doesn't feel really the quality that I want. And I'm really a good stickler for quality for people that know me. So I've been having a look around at some of the people that I admire on YouTube and looking to see what it is that they do and what it is that they use for their B-roll and just capturing the main vlog in general. And this bit of kit here comes up all the time. This is the Zhiyun Crane Plus. So there is a Zhiyun Crane version 2 that a lot of people are using. This is the Plus, which apparently is the next generation, actually above and replaces, I believe, the version 2. Now I got this for the very simple reason that the payload is around, what does it say? It's 2.5 kilos that it can hold. So that means as I'm using a Canon digital SLR with L lenses, that's quite heavy gear. So although it's not my intention in the future to carry on vlogging with a Canon digital SLR, I'm actually looking at something like a Sony mirrorless camera, as it will be a lot lighter. I bought this because I wanted to be safe and sure that any payload that I did add onto it would work for me. So this is why I've got the Plus. And I thought that when I've got this, instead of just unboxing it and going off and playing around in the countryside with it and seeing what I could do with it, I thought just unbox it and see and show you what it is that I'm going to be doing with it. And then after I've tried to set it up as best I can, what I'm going to do is, it's a nice day here, so I'm going to go out and do just a little bit of B-roll footage to show you the possibilities of the Zhiyun Crane Plus. Now, something I will say as well is they are not sponsoring this video in any way. This is bought out of my own money, and hopefully it will recoup itself quite quickly. We shall see, but let's go unboxing this Zhiyun Crane Plus. Okay, so let's see what we got inside the box. I believe it comes in its own hard case, which is good because of all the travel that I do. If I can get the thing open. It's always useful to have hard cases for gear because it means traveling certainly around Europe and also soon to be overseas, a lot further overseas. I want my gear to be protected. So it's like a set of instructions in there. So it comes in a nice hard case, and there's like an instruction manual in there. So opening it up, so quite nice flight case in there. So there's a battery charger, there's a couple of batteries obviously, so we'll need to charge that up before we can get out there. So I'll put that on charge before I go out and do the B-roll. There's some cables to connect to something or other. I'll have to read the manual. I believe from what I was reading earlier, there's marked on there, it's for a Panasonic camera. I believe this cable here is for a Sony. There's some certain controls on the Zhiyun Crane that it can interact with your camera depending on the camera you've got. There's also an app that you can download for the Crane Plus, certainly that I know of the Crane Plus, that you can download, and it does some quite smart things with the Zhiyun Crane Plus. There's some anti-slip grip tape there, so whether that will come in useful or not, I don't know. A mini tripod. It's always useful if you go to places and they say no tripod. If you've got this in your pocket, you happen to have it in your pocket. And then the crane itself. So there's the battery compartment, and then the crane itself. So if I can ease this out of here. So there is the crane. So it feels quite nice and light, which is good because it's always hard traveling because of all the weight restrictions that you get with airlines. I am lucky that because I fly so often with Air France that I get actually 2 23 kilo suitcases. So for me it's always useful having that extra weight. But so this is the Crane Plus. So I'll just have a quick read of the instructions. see how I set it up, and then we'll go out, we'll get some B-roll footage in the Loire Valley. Now, I don't want this to be a tutorial video, but there are one or two things I do need to set up before I can go out and have a play with this gimbal and see what it is that I can do with it. So I do know that there are various axes that have to be balanced. So you'll see here that it should be that when the camera is here, that you should be able to hold on to the arm and this doesn't go forward or backwards, that it should actually just remain in the middle. So if I undo the nut here and pull this back as it's going forwards, hold on to the arm, pretty much that's where it needs to be, which is good. If I do that back up again, make sure it's still there. So that's pretty much level as far as I can tell. When you tilt the camera back, again, it should be a case that it doesn't go backwards or forwards, that it actually stays where it is, that there's a centre of balance there, the centre of gravity that's going around. And again, with this side, it should be that this is not going this way or this way, but actually will stay there. So on the back, there's a nut there, so if I undo this, I push this in, let's keep an eye on where it's going. So it seems to be. Push it in maybe just a little bit more, just in case. So it seems to be pretty much balanced. So you can see there, if I tighten it up, if I let go, it's not on, it's not being engaged. So basically you can see there, as far as the camera is sitting down on the tripod, it's actually balanced on all the centres of gravity. So that's 3. There's another one to do, and it's the one I don't actually know, which is why I don't want this to be a tutorial video. But it gives you an idea of the frustrations of trying to set up a gimbal. Although it actually seems quite simple at times, sort of looking at it and thinking, well, how on earth do I get this thing to balance? It's just basically trying to find all those centres of gravity. It's just like balancing a stick on your hand and just trying to get everything to balance. So that's pretty much finished, apart from one axis. So I'll sort that out, and then we'll get out there and have a play around in my local area with this new Zhiyun Crane Plus. So there's a few clips of B-roll from the Zhiyun Crane. They're obviously not the most amazing clips of B-roll, but for me it gives me an introduction as to what it is that I can do with it, and it also gives you an introduction as to some of what might be coming up with it. I've got 3 different locations that I'll be going to over the next couple of weeks, and a very nice one at the end of May. So hopefully the crane will be put to very good use in these particular locations. So I'm going to Florence, I'm going to the Val d'Orcia in Tuscany, I'm going to an area called Les Marques, which is next to Tuscany, and then I'm off to the Caribbean after that. So there's some fantastic places that should be filmed, photographed and vlogged. Are there any cons to the crane? Well, the only thing that I could really think of is that at times I was pressing the power on button inadvertently, and it's just not really something that's it's just a little bit frustrating, that's all. The pros, it's really nice and light. If I wasn't using a digital SLR, it would be a lot more manageable than the digital SLR that I've got. I'm using a Canon 6D on there at the moment with a 17-40. That's what's just done the B-roll. It's the price for what it is. It's pretty good price. The availability, there's lots around at the moment. So it's said it's a fantastic bit of kit. I can't think of just anything that really would drag me away from it. It is great. It should be put to very good use in forthcoming vlogs. So that's a little bit of an introduction as to some new gear that I've got. So thanks to all my subscribers, thanks to all those that have come on board since the last one in Budapest, thanks to all my old subscribers, and also if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you click on subscribe down there in the bottom right hand corner, and also click on the bell up there too, and then you'll get some notifications as to when I upload new material. Until the next time, take care and see you again soon.